What's up, guys? It's a little go-kart update video. Like I said in the previous video, I said I'd definitely be making some tweaks and adjustments. So what I got going on right now is I basically am in the process of overhauling the whole steering, because like I said, it was never really good, and one day I was driving it, was bracing the wheel around a turn, and literally bent the steering wheel off and broke it. So it's completely undrivable, and I had to drag it all the way home. It was about half a mile. It was pretty horrible. So I'm going to show you what I did. Basically, I started out with on eBay. I just bought some guy was selling some steering parts for a go-kart, all sort of miscellaneous. I don't think it came as a kit or anything originally, but that consisted of the shaft, the hub, and the spindle arms and little hind joint things. So basically, to fix the main steering shaft to the frame, I welded a 5/8 collar, and then to strengthen that even further, I bent a piece of flat stock around it and then welded that to the frame and to the collar. It's kind of hard to see, it's not focusing, but yeah. So yeah, the collar's underneath it, and then the flat stock's bent on top and around, and then on either end I've got these two-piece lock collars which hold it in, keep the back and forth play down. And like I said, it's got this nice splined shaft with mates up with this little hub, so that's all dialed in and super strong. And down here the shaft has this little end stopper collar thing. So basically, as you can see, just cut out a section of the original frame and then put a piece of flat stock with a hole in it, welded at the angle that the whole shaft is going. And behind that, I have another one of those 5/8 collars, which I guess you can see better, which is welded to the back to keep, the whole shaft, you keep the play down in the front also, and then obviously another collar. So the whole steering wheel shaft turning is really nice. There's like no play in it at all, up and down, back and forth. The only sound you can hear is actually just that sort of rattling around, but yeah. So that is dialed in. Hopefully this time I won't break the steering wheel off. I don't think that'll happen. Now in the front, another little thing I bought on eBay was some guy was selling some spindles and another shaft. So I got all these extra parts. I got like 2 steering wheels now, and I got this shaft that came with it, with another one of those hubs, which I'll use in a future project. Yeah, so basically new spindles with brackets, because the homemade ones I had weren't too good. So those are just welded to 2 pieces of 1-inch square tubing, which are welded together to make, a 1x2 section, which goes along to the other side, and it's all welded together. I'll probably end up welding this seam completely, but this is just, I'm not, completely finished welding everything right now, because I'm still figuring out where everything's going to go. That is clamped underneath the frame, because previously I had the brackets welded to this bar on top, which set the whole go-kart at a downward angle, because the wheels in the front were really high up versus in the back where they're underneath the frame. So this basically levels the whole thing out, which is probably what it should be anyway. So that's that. It's just clamped in place right now because I'm figuring out the spacing back and forth, where I'm trying to get it as far back as possible so the holes on the spindles can line up with that, because it's already at a pretty steep angle. But I gotta watch out for the little Nerf bar thing. This is probably as far back as they'll go. Obviously, yeah, I don't want it to hit and shred the tire up or something. So now to show you the linkage going on. Like I said, the spindles, or the steering shaft I bought came with these tie rods and heim joints, which are a lot thicker and higher quality, more heavy duty than the other ones I have, which are these guys, these cheap ones, which the whole ball is kind of loose within the heim joint thing. So these ones, to keep the shaft from actually hitting the front, I have to space it down with one of these guys, but I think that's just as strong out as it would be anyway, because these can these adjust and move as it turns. Basically that'll be mounted in the center. The other one I'm gonna have to get like a longer bolt and mount in the center there, because I can't have them both butted up inside, because it needs to, the whole thing moves back and forth as you turn it in either direction. I'll show you what I mean. Oh yeah, it keeps falling in the middle. I need to put like spacers or something in there, obviously, but it's like that. It's got a pretty good turning radius, and it's really smooth. Once again, there's like no play at all once it's actually engaged. So yeah, that's as far, if you're turning right, that's as far as it'll go right, which is pretty steep. And then left, if I can get it to not bind up, is that. So yeah, I mean, it can basically go until it touches the Nerf bars. But the ratio of the steering is a lot better than it was before, where now I have to turn the wheel more to completely get it to turn from side to side, which is kind of what I want. So it's better when you're going fast, you know, and any slight movement in the wheel will only move the wheels a little bit, versus before, like from all the way right to all the way left was like barely like a quarter turn on the wheel, or even less than that. Now it's like I have to turn the wheel like about halfway from either end. I'll probably make another video when it's actually basically all welded up and done, and I'll show you guys that, maybe get some test drive footage or whatever. But thanks for watching, see you later.